Hi, I'm Tom.
And I'm Molly.
Welcome to Forensic Gameology, hosted by MoonlightCrew.com.
Reviews for science.
In 7 minutes or less.
Sentinels of the Multiverse, Wrath of the Cosmos. A very nice box here. It is the latest expansion from Greater Than Games in the Sentinels of the Multiverse co-op card game universe. It comes with 4 villains, 2 environments, and 2 heroes. It adds some complexity. It doesn't, however, come with big, so if you have the big cards, the big villain cards, it does not come with those. They are the small ones, so I was a little spoiled because we have all the other the expansions for the big cards, so I was a little spoiled in that we didn't have them in these. But that's what comes in the game. Simplicity versus complexity, Tom.
I think this, like you can look at our old, the reason we kind of didn't talk about how the game plays is because we've reviewed Sentinels of the Multiverse, the base game, and you can check that out. The base game was already a lot of bookkeeping, and I think this adds so much more. We've got this Kargra Warfang, who I believe is your favorite.
It's my favorite of the expansion, and maybe of all of the villains.
So maybe of all of the villains, and definitely of this expansion, this is Molly's favorite.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, she might be my least favorite by virtue of how much bookkeeping is involved in. I have to think about crowd's favor, and do you win the game by getting 20 tokens or not?
Her deck.
Her own deck. A title deck, which I think is the coolest, just awesome concept, that doing certain feats of strength or skill, you earn a title, and that title gives you an extra ability or power or trait. But when do these come out? There's like so many different conditions for title cards to even come out to be awarded, and there's so much to keep your mind wrapped around. I mean, I'll just take one from the top randomly. After a target destroys a target without dealing damage to it, put this card under the surviving target, covering everything above this line. So you have to remember that, whilst remember everything else about the game.
Yeah.
Complexity has gone through the roof.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Simplicity versus complexity. What do you say?
I say the exact same thing. They definitely add so much more bookkeeping. Not just with this villain, but each hero comes with a lot of bookkeeping. You have Captain Cosmic, who is not so hard to play, but he's got so many other cards. His cards can be played on any hero, and so you have to remember that he owns those cards. So there's a little bit more bookkeeping there. Skyscraper over here comes with 3 different modes, depending on what cards you play. So if you play a card that says normal, you're going to be in her normal mode. So she shrinks from tiny to normal to huge. Again, great concept, but it makes it more complex because then you have a different innate power. Luckily, you still have the same hit points. Otherwise, I think it would be disastrous if you had to keep up with that as well. I don't think the environments are too tricky. I think the environments are pretty straightforward. I think they do a little bit more damage to...
They're heavy hitting.
Yeah. But we only talked about one villain. I would say the other villains, yeah, just are normal, but definitely more complex in Wrath of the Cosmos.
Luck versus strategy. I think this carries the same element of luck and strategy as the base game. It's a continuation. I don't think there's been that much of a departure or any swing in any major case. You're still drawing from a shuffled deck, so there's an element of random chance, but the choices you make matter. There's a lot of strategy to be had in this game.
Yeah, I would say that these heroes being more complex means you have more choices that you want to make. What mode do you want to stay in? What card do you want to give to this person, or do you want to keep it? Things like that. So I do think there is I think there may be a little bit more strategy in that when you have, and not just these 2 heroes. There are other expansions that add different heroes that you have more choices. So, but yeah, I would say the same. Anytime you're shuffling any kind of deck, there's going to be a little bit of luck involved. Fun versus boring. I think this is super fun. I want to jump right in to why this is my favorite, because we didn't talk about that. Kargra Warfang is my favorite thematically because she is...
They fight in a coliseum.
Yeah, and there's other gladiators fighting, and
a lot of her cards are gladiators.
Yeah, and so you've got, this is the crowd's favor, so you actually beat her if you get more of the crowd's favor than the villains. And so one of the cards actually has a thumb like this, saying, are you going to go up or are you going to get killed? So just very thematic, and that's the only reason she's my favorite, is because I can see the theme. Yes, it adds tons of bookkeeping, but I can see the theme. I think it's super fun, and these characters are support characters that do really cool things. So they're not just a boring support character like some other characters can be. they're doing really cool things to help the whole team. So I think this is super fun.
Definitely agree that this is a fun game. I like Captain Cosmic and the Infinitor. They're nemesis of each other, and you can see that they're, I don't know if you can see, but they make energy constructs a la Green Lantern, except that they switched. The green is the bad guy, and the yellow is the good guy. What is it? Green Lantern versus Sinestro. They've kind of switched roles here. Very thematic, very fun. Definitely this is adding just the same continuity of fun. Where I'd rate it on Board Game Geek, that's where it gets a little tough for me. I think I would give this a 9, but just a standalone. But I would play it as I would play any Sentinels game. I could just put everything in randomly and play it. So I'm going to go with a 10 because this game I would just shuffle into my other cards and play with 10 out of 10 all the time.
Yeah, I would definitely give this a 10. For the same reasons, it might be bumped down to a 9, maybe even 8 for the sake of why is it so ridiculously complex? Why are you adding more complexity to it? So it is a lot more bookkeeping, but it's still super fun. I would give it a 10 out of 10. So when we hit 500 subscribers, and every 500 after that, every multiple of 500, I will give away one of my glitter paintings of your, if you win, favorite superhero symbol. So subscribe and tell all your friends.
Because it could be you that wins.
Sentinels of the Multiverse, Wrath of the Cosmos. We've presented the evidence.
You be the judge.